Hello and welcome to Revival. In this video, I'll walk you through how to track your hours and prepare an invoice using both our BQE system and a spreadsheet. We'll cover how to track your time using the spreadsheet, how to log your hours in the BQE, and how to submit your invoice at the end of the month. Using a spreadsheet helps you easily track the time you've spent on each project and calculate your weekly and monthly totals for invoicing purposes. You can also track your hours using the apps on your phone. I'm going to show you how to do it on the websites. There are several ways to track your time. I'll show you my preferred approach, and you can determine what works best for you. We'll start with the spreadsheet. I use a template I found on Google Sheets titled Weekly Timesheet. I like set and ready to use. It auto-populates the dates here, and you can change these out. My projects I work on over here to the left. If you need to change these out for different projects or add or subtract any of those, very easy. Under each day, I report my hours for each project I'm working on. You can see here that we always use quarter increments. For 1.25, it's an hour and 15 minutes. 1.5, an hour and a half. 1.75 is an hour and 45 minutes. At the bottom here, this spreadsheet template automatically populates my total hours worked for that day using a simple formula. Then at the end of each week, it populates the total number of hours used for each project. And then down here, the total hours for that week. You'll see this big number here is calculated by multiplying the total number of hours worked times the hourly rate, your hourly rate, whatever that may be, and you have your weekly total here. You'll also notice that I have some notes written here. This helps me remember what I actually did this day, that I'll use this and this total later for our BQE and our invoicing purposes. At the end of the week, I copy and paste this template down here. I change out the dates and I clear out my notes. You'll notice everything automatically populates to 0 and will reset. Now we can go into BQE. Once you log into BQE, you will navigate to T&E. You will find time entries. We'll click on there. BQE is a business management software that Revival uses to track hours and payroll. You can also submit expenses in BQE. This is more on an as needed basis, and your team lead or Chad will help you navigate that process. You'll first start by signing in, and then you'll navigate to the time entries. It's best to update BQE on a daily or weekly basis, depending on your process. When you first set up BQE, you want to add this memo column over here. And you do that by navigating to More, Hide, Show Hide Columns, clicking on Memo. You should only have to do that one time and never have to worry about it again. I also prefer to change the date to the time frame that I'm working in. So I have it set to cover June and July. To begin, I have my first date here. So I can go into my weekly timesheet and see that on June the 2nd at Eagles Landing, I worked for an hour and 15 minutes on admin and reports. And I know that for admin, that for me, it's working within the spreadsheets, updating the spreadsheets, organizing. I did some reports I sent out to our clients. So I'll go into time entries. June 2nd, we have our project list. You can search by the project code, the name, or by the client. There's also this drop down, Eagles Landing, and then my activity code. So I worked within the spreadsheet and organized a few things. So I'll use file documentation and management. Depending on what you're working on, there are different codes here. If you're coordinating and monitoring temporary relocations or move days, I will use this code here. Resident communication can cover anything from phone calls, emails, interviews. I'll use this. If you ever have any question on which code to use for both the project or the activity, just ask somebody on your team to help you navigate that. You'll see here that the description automatically populates. And on June 2nd at Eagles Landing, we did an hour and 0.25, which is hour 15. I'll add in my memo here, spreadsheet updates and organization. And I will add admin reports. Once I'm finished, I will simply click done. As you enter your hours every week, you will notice this total increase. At the end of the month, this total needs to match the total that we will later put on our invoice. At the end of the month, once we're ready to submit and we've ensured, triple checked that all of our hours equal up, everything matches, you will select all here, click Actions, Workflow, Submit. Under Submit To, change to My Manager. You can add a memo if you like, and then you will click Done. I'm not going to click that today, and I'll just simply delete this for now. Lastly, we have our invoice. There are a few key details that should be included on your invoice. This is essentially consolidating everything into one document to be submitted to accounting. I use another Google Sheet template titled Invoice. It has most of everything on here. The first important detail to have is your name, your address, and your phone number. This is a proper invoice and should be invoiced to Chad Wakefield at this address here. You need a submission date, and you must have an invoice number. That will change on a monthly basis. Down here, you have the hours organized per week, and this is important. It should be organized per week. On the first week of June, I have 37 hours. I typed in 37, and this template automatically calculates the hourly rate times the hours to give me my total for that week, which should match up on your other spreadsheet. And then down here at the bottom, it does the same thing for the monthly rate, calculates the full month along with your hours. These hours must match the hours in your BQE. Once I'm finished filling this out, it will download a PDF copy to send to Brian at revivaldevelopmentservices.com. He will process the invoice in accounting and send it to Chad for approval. To wrap up our invoicing and hours, here are a few tips and reminders. Ensure that you're tracking your hours regularly on a daily and weekly basis. Always double check your totals before submitting. Keep backup files organized by month and project. Ensure you're labeling invoice files clearly and consistently. If you need help with any part of this process, please reach out to your team lead and they'll be happy to help you. Thanks for following along.